Good morning. I'm Judy Vickers, and I'm doing the 20-minute teaching this morning. I think it's more of a sharing than a teaching. Teaching is not my strong suit. I used the symbol of the butterfly from the Hubble telescope, as I did in the other two talks I've given, because it represents hope and transformation for me, and boy, do we need that right now. Perhaps I'm a magical thinker, but I find it amazing that this beautiful image could be buried in deep, dark space until we got a telescope that can bring it to life for us in this gorgeous, gorgeous photo. Maybe that's how Noah felt when he first saw a rainbow. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable to me that it's been 5 years since that horrible coup attempt to take over our capital. It happened on January 6th, the Feast of Epiphany, and my birthday. A year ago this month, I gave my first heart-to-heart talk. I was terrified. I had just turned 77, and I remembered thinking double sevens were significant. As it happened, 2025 was a significant year for me, but not in the way I expected. There have been some unwelcome challenges, but who hasn't had challenges? That's the way of life. Donald Trump was just beginning his second term, and it almost succeeded in destroying our 250-year-old democracy in less than a year. The key word here is almost. He has not succeeded yet. I remember reading this reflection by Clarissa Pinkola Estes just before I put that first talk together last January. It has carried me through this year's turmoil. I think it bears repeating. She says, ours is not the task of fixing the entire world all at once, but rather of stretching out to mend the part of the world that is within our reach. Any small, calm thing that one soul can do to help another soul, to assist some portion of this poor, suffering world, will help immensely. It is not given to us to know which acts or by whom will cause the critical mass to tip toward an enduring good. What is needed for dramatic change is an accumulation of acts. We know that it does not take everyone on earth to bring peace and justice, but only a small, determined group who will not give up during the first, second, or even 100th gale. She continues, one of the most calming and powerful actions you can do to intervene in a stormy world is to stand up and show your soul. Soul on deck shines like gold in dark times, and not like the fake gold that Trump has gilded the White House with. The light of the soul throws sparks, can send up flares, build signal fires, cause proper matters to catch fire. To display the lantern of soul in shadowy times like these, to be fierce and to show mercy towards others. Both are acts of immense bravery and greatest necessity. Struggling souls catch light from other souls who are fully lit and willing to show it. If you would help to calm the tumult, this is one of the strongest things you can do. She concludes, there will always be times when you feel discouraged. I too have felt despair many times in my life, but I do not keep a chair for it. I will not entertain it. It will not eat from my plate. In that spirit, I hope you will write this on your wall. When a great ship is in harbor and moored, it is safe. There can be no doubt. But that is not what great ships are for. I started writing this talk last fall and had intended to give it this past November, but then some health issues got in the way and I had to bow out. The title is, Oftentimes God Speaks to Me in Symbols. I am going to share some of my reflections from a dark time in my life. It was probably 30 years ago, and I had just made another retreat at Loretta. That place has been so instrumental in my spiritual journey. Maybe it's like Gethsemane has been for Joe, only it holds lots of feminine energy. They are about 10 miles apart, I think. Merton used to go there a lot to teach and also to visit friends. This time, the retreat theme was on transformation and our covenant with God. Loretta is surrounded by rolling hills, and there are many places to be outside in nature. The energy there feels sacred to me. I was with my meditation group from Epiphany Catholic Church. The wind was really blowing that weekend and was a symbol for me that the Holy Spirit is truly in that place. I suppose anything can be a symbol. That was the charge, to take a couple of hours in silence and just to notice, to see if anything spoke to me of my covenant with God. I went for a lovely walk across the fields, and my heart was tuned in. The first symbol that came to me was mud and manure. I wasn't really thrilled with that one. I thought I'll just keep walking and noticing, and maybe something better will show up. But no, mud and manure seemed to be the ticket. On my last retreat, my symbol was wildflowers. That was much nicer. But God was taking me in a different direction this time. Before, I did this same walk, and little flowers of all colors and descriptions kept saying, "Notice me, choose me." By the time I got back, I had a beautiful miniature bouquet to place on our altar. Today, I have mud and would have had manure too if I'd been bold enough to gather it. It was asking to be a part of the symbol as well. But I really didn't mind. I think God was showing me the importance of both and. Flowers grow in the muck. It's like that with life. I believe that is my covenant with God this time around. I am learning so many valuable, beautiful lessons because of the mud and the muck of life. All of it is necessary to be whole and complete. One of my most important lessons is learning to trust the process. I remember even earlier when I was on that first retreat so many years ago with our Just Faith group. Our leader, Jack Jezreel, said that outrageous thing on that retreat. He said that the retreat is the orgasm of the process. The classes are the hard work, and then you get the orgasm when you go away on retreat. I found his remark hilarious and delightful at the time, and true when I heard it then, but I see it a bit differently now. Orgasm is wonderful, but to have one, you have to have a lot of trust in your partner. God is my partner in this case. To have a fruitful retreat, I also must have a lot of trust. I never know what emotions might come up or be exposed when I enter fully into it. Sometimes I experience great sadness or my deep wounds and feelings of shame. Despite that fact, I trust that God is providing a safe place for deeper healing in my life. When I am brave enough to go there, God will carry me through to the other side, which has the possibility of being pure, ecstatic joy. If I want to have full spectrum living, I must be willing to experience everything. I pray that I don't let fear hold me back. Ironically, just as I finished my walk that morning, I happened upon another of my sacred symbols. This was a little white feather laying on the path right in front of me, a gentle reminder that my angels are now and always have been with me. I feel so much gratitude. I love the poem Joe shared with us this week on Finding Joy. It reads, "First time I ever felt joy was at the Abbey of Gethsemane in the refectory on a retreat at age 32. I didn't even have a word for what I was feeling. So I took my cup of coffee, got on the elevator up to the library, and opened a dictionary. And then it occurred to me, this isn't how dictionaries work." I smiled, took a sip of coffee, and just stared out at the garden behind the retreat house. and it came to me floating up like a torch from the bottom of a dark pond. Joy. Could this feeling be joy? This feeling of glad to be aliveness for no reason at all? I wrote down this poem on the napkin under my coffee cup. Pure joy. This moment, minus your opinion of it. Joe's poem, arriving as it did this week, felt to me like another symbol that I'm supposed to share my story about joy. Some of you have heard it before. I talked about it when Heart to Heart first started meeting. The topic that day was on finding joy, and I shared my experience in the early 90s of being in a space in my life looking for more joy. I had signed up for a talk at Bellarmine College on that very subject. We met in a conference room. There were maybe 100 people present, and we were asked to divide into groups of 4 or 5. So we spent some time milling around and trying to get our groups together. And after a few minutes, I finally had my group of 5 people, and we were going to be introducing ourselves. And then this 6th person came over to our group. I'm a 1 on the Enneagram, and I like to do things by the book. And she had said getting groups of 4 or 5, not 6. So here comes this lady who wants to join our group, and everyone is very welcoming to this woman. And I was too, but in my head, I was thinking, there are other groups of 4 around here. You could get in one of them. Why are you pigging into our group of 5 that's already established? That's going on in my head while we're getting in our circle to find joy. So then we're going around the circle, introducing ourselves. And when we get to this new woman, her name is Joy. And that is when I heard God laughing. Here I am paying money to be in a conference to learn how to put more joy in my life. And a woman named Joy wants to join my group, and I don't have room for her because I'm so judgmental and piggish about my rigidity. So that was the best lesson that I've ever learned. But I've had many lessons like that in my life. God talks to me like that all the time. So there you go. I am going to end the talk this morning with a quote by Ted Murray. There are 2 types of people in the world. Some are those who want to keep things as they are and protect the status quo. They are stuck in the past and all of the rules and norms and expectations that have been developed to keep things as they are. The others are those who use their imagination to envision a new way of being for themselves and the rest of the world. We all have both tendencies, and you can look within to see at which end of the spectrum you tend to live. It's through the imagination that all progress and innovation takes place. This is where you connect with the universal wisdom and see things that don't yet exist. When you make it your mission to be guided by your imagination and your higher sense of who you are and why you are here, then you can be part of creating an entirely new world. Envision a world of peace, prosperity, and love, and then play your role in making it reality. This is how we will move away from the shackles of the past and create a life of freedom, beauty, abundance, and joy. That quote was by Ted Murray.